Now you should be able with me. There we go. D&D Heavyweight Gaming. Woo! This is our 78th session of Fables Among Titans. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous amount of sessions. Right. Welcome to the channel. This is Tuesday. Testing 1, 2. Let's do the social media stuff first, just so Mel's ready for the quick fire. Right, so
I'm not, because I'm going to go and post on the other one.
The other one?
Discord.
Right, well, we'll get to that. There's some commands and stuff. I'm pretty sure if I do
You do thingy
socials. Will that work? Boom, Linktree. There you go. Click on that and you will see absolutely everything about where you can find us, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, YouTube, Spotify, etc. Go follow it. We're everywhere. And it's basically me just writing stuff about when we're going live, what we got coming up, Happy Pancake Day, etc. So, on to sponsors. I've finally put Sparky's logo up on the overlay, so we'll start with Sparky first. Sparky is a miniature printer. He himself just prints them out. If you go to his Etsy store, I need to find all these things. Commands. There you go. Mel's doing the commands. If you go to the Etsy store, find Sparky & Co. Look at the miniatures he's got for sale. They're absolutely beautiful, and it makes me jealous and motivated to get a massive table right in the middle of where everyone can get to, just so I can buy all his minis. So please go check out Sparky & Co. And if you use the code HEAVY, you get 12% off, because D12 Barbarian. I try to be funny about it, but everyone took the piss out of me. But it's 12%, alright? Loki battle mats. Incredible crafters, creators of battle mats, whether they're A3, A4, A1, A5, whatever size you're after, you can flip them out on your table, and you've got castles and caverns and towns and taverns and forests and ritual circles and lava lakes and throne rooms. That's a pretty cool one. Super, super cool maps that they've got. I think they also won an award for an adventure box they just released with their maps in and such. So they're really, really cool. Every Kickstarter they do, instantly funded. They're brilliant at what they do. If you play digitally, go to Drive-Thru RPG, look for Loki Battle Mats, and you can grab everything they create. They also do a digital version, so go grab them and upload them to your favourite virtual tabletop. Amazing. Serious Escape. You may or may not be able to hear the music right now, but it's going on in the background. They have a absolute wealth of sound sets that you can take advantage of to create a wonderful ambience for your games. If you're sat around a table, again, lucky bastards, you can play it at your digital laptops, Bluetooth speakers, phones, PCs, anything you've got, tablets. You can play it and you've got a really cool sound going on around your players. And if you want deeper immersion to the ambience, go to Bardic Inspiration UK and buy some smelly candles. And by smelly, I mean beautiful scented candles. I'll never work in sales. So Escape. The chibi tokens that you see having a little slideshow going on and that you will have seen on my Roll20 maps and when we're doing battles and such, those tokens are created by Coyote Grey. So if you go to the Roll20 marketplace, type in Coyote Grey, you'll see all the chibi packs that he's created and put up there. I own them all because I love them. I think they're absolutely brilliant. He also did these lots actual characters of chibi tokens, which is super cool. So big shout out to Coyote Grey. I also always forget this, but the actual headshots that you see as the characters here, they're done by Lissy. I'm unsure of what her social media right now is, but we can find it and I'll put it in the linkage. But yeah, super cool. Super cool. Right, that's that. Monkey, where's the monkey face? Where's my adventurers? Do you feel sorry for the adventurers? Monkey face. Donate 200 bits last year's to give the party a reroll. They can't be used on the DM or death saving throws and they don't roll over to the following week.
Did you do that? Did that just pop up? That just popped up.
It might be on a timer.
Yeah.
It's just weird timing.
Yeah. So what was that? Yeah, so that's roll 20 bits. If you want to throw bits at this lot, they'll get rerolls. If you want to throw bits at me, it costs you 500, and I promise you, I will try and ruin their nat 20s with every reroll you give me. It usually ends up with them getting a better roll, but we'll go with that. Right, every year we do a charity stream, usually of 24 hours and upwards, where we thank you, Sageborn. You've got reroll, guys. We do a charity stream and we try to raise as much as we can for a specific charity that year. Over the last few years, we've raised about £8,000, whether it be through Just Giving, through straight up donations to the stream, donations to myself. I promise I didn't spend it in Greg's, but we've managed to do really well and I want to keep going and going and going. This year we're doing a week-long charity stream from the 24th to the 28th of July. It'll be noon till midnight every day. So it'll be 60 hours of the Monday night group's campaign. But the way they're going, there'll be no chuffing characters. But it'll be their faces for that particular time. We're going to invade Rich and Amelia's house, two of the players, get round their table, send their kids elsewhere and play D&D for an entire week. The charities we're raising for are Shelter, who will help folk that are in homeless situations and do what they can to better that situation. Papyrus, which is the prevention of suicide in young'uns. There's a phone number, I don't know, we'll try and get a bigger image so you can see phone numbers and helplines and such, but go check them out, really good at what they do. And MS UK, exactly what it says under their logo, they support those with MS, just living it out and on the journey they have through their lives. 3 brilliant charities, and hopefully we can smash the double figures mark of what we've done over the last few years. So if you can, please donate. Follow the link in chat. There's a donation button underneath the stream itself amongst all the beautiful artwork. Bright pink says Just Giving. Click on it, it'll take you to the page. If you ain't got any money, don't worry about it. I ain't got any money, but I do know some people with money. So you just rob them and you donate it. Or shout about it, share it. Like share, retweet, whatever terminology the social platform has. Just get it out there as best you can. It's all appreciated. We have lots of prizes being given away that you can raffle in for. The more you donate, the more chance you've got of winning. And we've got things like, what have we got? We've got candles, we've got dice, we've got maps, we've got minis, we've got gift vouchers, we've got axe throwing and something else with the axe throwing that I've forgotten.
Escape room, wasn't it?
Axe throwing and what? So escape room. That's it. Yes, axe throwing and escape room. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff. I'm glad you do. I really should, but yeah, we've got a lot of stuff coming and a lot of stuff we want to try and give away to raise more money. So please do that. Is there anything else? No, let's go with the recap. So, let me get my Sirenscape. I wonder if it has airship sound set. Here we go, right now, live, testing Sirenscape. It's actually got an airship sound set. What? Whoosh.
That's Mel doing the.
That's
Well,
nice.
Yeah. Sugar, that's a bit loud. So, after being in the city of Ravens for all of 35 seconds, a dragon attacked, but it's alright, you knew him. Natathrin Sasha, at least the soul of a dragon that is held within a soul forged, an ivory soul forged, released and went bananas on the palace and the majority of the immediate district of the palace in the city of Ravens. Lots of bad stuff. Rocks fell. Natathrin was not happy that the presence of Ari, because he's an eagle. Fly, eagle, fly. But things were calmed down and nobody died. Just having a lovely conversation with Arterion and discovering that that Sapphire had accidentally created some fairly powerful scrolls, because the scratchings upon them, taken from the blood pillars that helped destroy the Copper Forest, the Fae Realm, has actually created magical scrolls that would now, in theory, weaken them, reverse them, aid in getting rid of them / defeating Corbin Astaroth, the blood mage that was responsible for them. You have taken the airship, the Enchanted Assassin. You met Captain Jasmine, aka Short, who is a lovely roly-polying halfling that just has the urge to roly-poly. I mean, who don't? Less so these days. But yes, you're on the Enchanted Assassin. You have just taken to the skies, and you are heading in a south, more easterly, but slightly like east, south. We'll go with that direction across the skies. It is a couple of days straight line sail to the Darshal Educian, one of the Tri-Solemn, one of the 3 very, very high prestiged places of learning for the martially gifted, the divinely gifted, and the arcanely gifted. The Darshal Educian, which is the one in Ravenholm, is responsible for those that are martially gifted, with a spattering of arcane skill in their martial prowess. It has been isolated in that the Eagle Province is pretty much owned by the fiendish army led by Kelphias, wielder of Raven's Bane, although there's some mutterings of, whether that's true or not. But the school, the place of learning, the guild upon itself, whatever terminology gets used for the Darshal Educian, is isolated. The circle that one could normally use to transport there was closed off, so it would either be approached by sea or approached by air would be your best bets, or walk it through the fiendish army, Depends how many levels you want to try and farm those minions. So yes, you are currently aboard the Enchanted Assassin. It has been maybe 10 minutes since you boarded. Ropes have been untied, it's taken to the skies, and you are sailing upon an airship towards Darshal Educian. Sean is back with us, which is lovely. So, go, coconuts, go.
You will immediately see that Xandria is not on deck.
You jumped off, or
No, she's hiding.
yeah. I've had enough of
Below
this shit.
deck, lying on the floor, pretending it's the ground.
Or she's blinked.
She's blinked at the
Yeah.
edge.
I'm out. I'm out.
I'm out. No, she's quite literally what Jeannie has said. She is underneath, down below, pretending that she is on land. It's one thing to go sailing on the open sea. It's another thing to be in the air.
Cool.
Sapphire is definitely up by the bow of the ship, where the most wind is hitting the furthest. But
Yeah.
like, Sapphire wouldn't. You'd normally expect Sapphire to be like, "Yeah." Sapphire is standing more solemnly, but is still enjoying the wind.
Conversely to Xandria, Ruby's having a lovely time. It turns out that, yeah, Ruby, not so great when we're actually on the water, but unusually for a druid, really quite like how high up we are. Probably like waving at birds and stuff, just...
There's a few seagulls flying past giving you the eye, like, what the fuck? And they sort of like half flap one wing to wave, but then lose a bit of the...
She's also probably doing that thing, it's like with little kids where they go straight for a fence and they're like over it at the waist, like, God, look how far we can see! I can see my house! I'm aware she probably can't see her house,
Yeah.
but...
Nobody knows. The crew don't know where you live. You could do. Okay.
Kess is probably just keeping a wee eye, just making sure that we don't end up with a cat or a druid overboard. But it's
It's
no
alright, I can turn
weirder
into a
than
bird,
the
I'll come
plane
back.
of air, so you know what? This feels a little bit more controlled, if anything. He got here willingly, at least, so...
I mean, fair.
Like Ari's probably down below with Rhea, just being like, "You okay? You okay, man?"
Are you okay?
Shaking of heads.
Okay, so give me a Constitution saving for young Skies Andrea.
Constitution saving throw.
You've got to, haven't you? You can't not. You can't not.
Dirty 20.
Cool. You
Dirty
don't vom. You're all right.
No.
Although you do.
You think really hard about
Wait,
it.
wait.
Yeah, just.
There is a moment where you catch yourself and then you look at Ari and see that Ari looks thinner than normal, is pale, is sweating. There is a bit of a crackle in his breathing, and his posture of heading towards you is definitely faked.
Zandria will kind of like open one eye as she is lying on the floor, like she opens eyes, looks at Ari, clocks obviously how he looks. You're going to need to sit down, Ari.
Just
Why
a,
are you
sorry.
on the floor?
I don't in particularly like my feet not touching the ground.
We're in a ship. You're fine.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Well, he will just kind of like take a perch next to her.
Cool. What are the rest of you doing or not doing? The crew are just ignoring you. You're just passengers. They've had them before. Right now, they don't look at all interested that you're aboard their ship. They give you the odd nod if you make eye contact, but if there is any conversation wanted, they don't look like they'd initiate.
Nah, stay out of the
they're
way of the
busy.
buses. I don't want to bother the people that are keeping this dirigible in the sky. That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, Ruby just knows better than to bother people when they're working. I guess you have thick ear on a farm.
Fair. Well, you have a couple of days to discuss, plan, cry, laugh, attempt to level up. Where's them rats? There's got to be rats on this ship.
Farming
If there
methods.
are no ones to fight them, poor
Not
little things.
murdering off the crew to level up.
Jesus.
We're going
Wow.
down, but I'm level 12.
I think in like that time that we've got, Xandra will probably spend a lot of time just constantly keeping an eye on Harry, watching his breathing, because obviously she knows what it's like. She knows what he's going through. So just looking for like the same telltale signs that she had when obviously she knew something bad was about to happen, but like when you put on the brave face of no, I'm fine. She'll be doing that exact same thing for Harry.
Cool. Anybody else want to do anything with your time? Converse with one another, etc.
Oh, I was going to let other people go first, but at some point, Sapphire's going to do some meditation and try and contact Sensei Rin.
Ah, yes.
Oh yes, Sapphire, unfortunately for Sean not being here, also found out that Sensei Rin was not deceased. Okay, so time will be wibbly-wobbly-esque as we do these couple of days and you guys sort out what you want to do, not do. Sapphire, I need to know if you meditate during sunrise or sunset.
Probably sunset.
Cool. Give me a d20 roll plus your monk level.
Oh. I haven't got dice out. I'm so not ready.
Amazing.
Like I have played online D&D recently, but it was all on
Nice.
digital dice rolls. Okay. Plus my monk level.
Yep.
So that's 19.
Cool. Two seconds. As you begin your meditation, meditative harp. Come on, Sunscape. 2 for 2.
Oh.
Wow.
Not just busting out the anime openings again.
I've just got
Oh yeah.
Crunchyroll open. I'm just. That should come through.
Yep.
That's very nice, plinky plonky. The sounds of the rushing air and the bustle of the crew doing what they're doing. You quickly picked up that Nicolette, the very shady, you can't see my face because I'm beyond a robe and I like it this way, controller of the air spirit within the balloon above the ship. All that goes. The blue and white coloration of it, the noise, the magics that are cast, the conversations between the crew, just general hustle bustle, no footsteps on the wood, all fades to silence. And you fall in. Reaching out for Sensei Rin was almost accidental when it happened a few months ago, when you'd first left Vey and gone upon your mission. You see a small ginger child walking towards you. Are you going to bed, Sam? They hug you.
Stomp body bones.
And then has a Shrek moment. Go on, hurry up. Go.
I'm watching the first Hobbit.
Alright, the first Hobbit or the first Hobbit movie?
First Hobbit
I'll let you work it out.
movie is 3 hours.
3 hours. That's cool. Do not also is 3 hours. My stream. Go to bed. Love you. Bye. Nerds. So, back to D&D. It's very different. You are pushed away. For those that were watching you meditate, there's a slight twitch in just one of your eyes. You get a bit of a reflexive snarl going on, soundless, like your lip curls up a little bit, and there is a friction in your reach towards Sensei Rin. You do actually recognise it as a fiendish essence between you and who you're trying to reach. You're trained in the ways of seeking them out and combating them. There is definitely a womb of fiendish aura. But you push through. And beyond that barrier, beyond that wall, you enter a garden. And it is the personal garden of Sensei Rin's home. You've been there a handful of times in your training since her wee cub, and you take it in. It is refreshing. It is nostalgic as a mother kipper, and you fall into I could be here forever, to ignore all the crap behind you or that you're going towards, etc. Sat on the steps is Sensei Rin. The robes about him loose, not tied. The kimono is not formal. It is end of the day, kicking your shoes off open, and he is resting against a beam where the archway up the stairs would lead to, like the porchway, and then into the building itself. Much of the house is distorted and doesn't really focus, like you can't see the sharp edges of the roof and such. It's a snapshot of Sensei Rin sat on the stairs, and like I say, very informal, just leaning against the post, hair all down. No grooming has been done that day.
Does he, like, physically, does he look? How bad does he look?
Exhausted. On death's door, exhausted, but at least strong enough to sit up. And there's slight movement in them, but Rin is definitely not in a good state. And you can just see the rhythm of breathing as the shoulders come up. It is heavy and hard work. But they do look present, like they do look there. It's not like there's an etherealness to them. The wooden post they're leaning across the stairs, the flowers that you're currently stood in, your little toe beans, is all real. You feel it, you can smell it, you can see Sensei Rin.
From that, then, Sapphire's not actually going to approach or say anything. Just generally happy to know that Sensei Rin is okay. Try and give like a general feeling of positivity and warmth, and then we'll back out and just kind of let Rin relax.
So you back out of the meditation?
Yeah.
Give me a perception check as you're backing out.
That should be pretty good. That's very good. That's 24.
24, cool.
Yeah.
Stepping out of the doorway behind Sensei Rin is a humanoid shape. They are in robes similar to the more accustomed in the art of the religion of Fae. Their robes are loose and they flow. They are in symbology of the various spirits and elements and the blossoms of Fae represented in their attire. Their hair is tied up in a long top knot. Their hair is bright white, like completely lost all colour to the point where there's only white left. They are of young features. You can see small horns just growing out just above their eyebrows. And they step forward and they have deep red eyes. And as they see you, you can see a tether of magic going from them to Sensei Rin. And they step out, smile as you're backing away. And you just hear them say, "Curiosity killed the cat." And they just wave as you back out of your meditation. You do not recognise them.
Okay. That was certainly a choice.
Yep.
Okay.
I was like, whoo, whoo. And you wake up back on deck. It did
Yeah,
cost
if anyone-
you a key point.
Key point.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, I figured it would be. Yeah, anyone seeing Sapphire anytime shortly after this is just like matted fur in like lines down from his eyes. He doesn't know how to take this, not happy. Thinks he's fucked up again.
Oh, you know what happens. You're drinking tea before you've blinked.
Filled the
You've
cup
been
with your own
forcefully
tears.
hugged and given tea, but she won't press it if you don't want to talk.
No, he won't talk about it straight away for sure. It'll
Ruby.
probably be a day or so.
As you hug Sapphire, you can smell the flowers that Sapphire was recently upon Sapphire. It's as if he's rolled in them.
given that he doesn't really seem inclined to share too much, she just kind of gives him a slightly perplexed but slightly interested look. But
he kind of accepts the tea from her, and like he notices that look. He'll just say, later, and like pats her on the shoulder. He kind of goes for some alone time. We'll go back on the front of the deck.
As you stand on the front, it's been a while, but the reign of Ravenholm returns.
Sapphire's heading back under deck.
However, up here in the sky, go on, play for me. I like one of your little French tabaxis.
So many mixed metaphors there. So many.
I went down a path and I was trying to get off here, right? Badly. Hitchhiking's not my
I've just
fun.
written down Rain returns over Ravenholm. Is that all you want to put on it? That's...
oh, you keep that playing, I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah,
Well,
I was just thinking that.
That's the difference. This rain is not oppressive. There is a... In fact, Xandria, you will feel it rather than see
Feel
it,
it.
being the fact that you are... Yeah, you'll feel it rather than feel it. This reminds me of a summer rain. Warm, straight down, no wind. You swear you can hear the noises of the creatures of the oasis. For you, Ruby, it's the woodlands around your home. Ari is alien to you in the fact that because you're in Ravenholm, you're not used to it. The rain is normally miserable, grey, you know,
Cold.
That's why he always
cold.
has like spare cloaks and things.
Yeah, exactly. But
Used
this
to
is
just hiding from it.
up here. It doesn't really fit the fact that you're sailing through the air on a giant ship. But the rain coming down does feel more warmer. Bit more humidity about it. Sapphire, you probably recognise a similar feeling from back in Vale when it's not as cold, and it's actually quite nice. Unless you don't like water, obviously.
Yeah, Sapphire will have back like as long as the like envelope of the balloon is over him, so it's not full on pelting him. He's happy to stay outside then.
Yep. You see the
Fuck Ravenholm.
the crew when it first starts. It's almost like a superstition, a tradition. They seem to all do the same sort of thing as they kind of welcome it. Like their arms kind of open, they look up and just let it hit them. They move around to make sure the balloon doesn't block, and they do get hit by it, and then they carry on with their work. So whilst it is raining gently, Sapphire, you've done some meditation. Like I say, you've got about 2 days. You easily got 2 full nights to sleep on here. So long rest yourselves if you haven't already. And let me know if you want to do anything.
More for flavour than
I
for
like flavour.
anything that needs like deep RP. No, purely because it's just that something Kess is going to be doing in the background doesn't really have much interaction with the rest of the squad.
I'll be the judge of that.
Is that quite right?
No, do you remember the druidic? Oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this little ritual. It won't
No, it's literally called it's so the sending stone from Selena, he's just gonna have a check-in, update her on the situation, give the last known areas that they've heard that this other Stefan could be in, the fact that Corbin is supposedly away on the big flagship, and the fact that they are heading down towards the Darshal Educian now, following a dragon attack.
As expected, there's a fair amount of "oh" in her voice with every sentence uttered. The majority of her update back to you is she and others of your house are currently making their way through the Tidal Arcanum, which she will explain to you are faster ways to travel the waters of Colossus. Similar to those that use teleportation circles on land, there are magical ways to travel faster in the waters. She's currently one hop away from the northern waters of Ravenholm, and confirms she will look at every vessel and will inquire with the local sea life, wink wink nudge nudge, if they can help.
He'll make a point of saying that oh my god, my head's just dribbled out my ear. That we've no, I'm getting the wrong name again. Flip.
It's alright, it's been a while.
It also, my head's just lumpy soup at the moment.
It's the best way to play. Kelfias?
No.
Stefan?
Blind Court.
Oh, Arterion.
Arterion.
I could only get the other one from the other D&D that sounds really
From
similar.
that other show.
And the more I thought about the fact that that wasn't it, it was like, say it though. Say it.
Yeah.
Say it. Go on. You know you want to.
I don't think I thought when the reveal happened, I was like, shit.
Yeah. So I was just going to say that, he's kind of showing up again, just as a heads up that he's going to be moving around. And remembering he's not the biggest fan, so just if you're in those waters, watch out for a guy in a corset and a blindfold, because he's a...
Oh, God. That sentence.
he's not hugest fan. Just FYI.
She will thank you. And do the normal, are you okay, is, just the general check-ins. Cool. Anybody else?
I mean, Ruby is about one level of comfort away from putting window boxes along the edge of the ship and just moving in and starting a garden, because you've got the nice rain.
There's
No
some
one's in
proper Snow White
danger.
moments going on with Ruby. As she moves around the ship, there's more and more aerial life just appearing on the railings of the ship or on the wheel or just...
She's holding a seagull like it's a cute little, the seagull's the size of her, and she's holding it like it's a little bluebird of happiness while it's
Like it's got a roll up and it's like fucking druids.
Well, that is actually what seagulls do, isn't it?
Yeah. So
They'll probably eat it when they're done smoking it, but...
Oh, that's just ridiculous. Using a pelican as an ashtray. Shut up, Steve. That's getting cannoned.
But so...
The new King Who sub race.
Oh, God. Fag Ash Lil. Oh.
Any interaction with Ruby, it's just gonna really err towards the wholesome and just the nice. She's had a kettle going
Permanently.
Crew party.
I will say,
captain.
Mr. Wood, the chef, carpenter, surgeon, whittler, is fond of partaking in a brew every time the kettle's on.
Kettle's always on. Always
Exactly.
a brew. Always a brew.
So, go on.
Yeah, she's probably, I say offered, by which we read force feed Xandria mint leaves to try and make her feel less nauseous. She's still trying to work out which particular brew of tea is going to fix whatever Ari's got going on.
Okay.
However it tastes. But
He'll
yeah,
quietly be sipping it and everything. Oh, this tastes lovely.
well, it depends.
Yeah.
Yes, some of
yeah.
them.
Oh.
Some of them, you're like, can you not do the licorice one again? I mean, but it didn't work.
On the first night's rest, you may keep a watch if you so wish, but with the crew, you see they just fall in. A couple of them will do a night shift. I will say during the trip, you don't see Nicolette take a rest at all. They are constantly in communication with the air spirit that keeps this ship a-flying. Ari, during your lovely sleep, as you're listening to the rain pitter-patter against the wood outside the bunk room that you're currently in, you start coughing, and then it gets real bad, and you cough up blood and this thick black liquid that you've seen before around Xandria. There is a moment of panic where your breath is taken completely, and you're struggling to breathe as if you're choking. You tremble, you feel incredibly weakened. And once the coughing stopped and you've chilled and rested, you just relax a little bit, and you hear, "You're not like Xandria. You have a different flavour to your soul." Do you respond, or just look around the... Some fucking pervert watching me.
Do you remember when he had a talking sword?
I don't know what you mean. Don't know what you
Know
mean.
what you mean?
Do you remember that?
Remember that talking sword?
Long ago, Harry.
Yeah.
That's gone. It's in the past.
He ain't gonna say anything to anybody, and he's probably going to try and ignore it, because this is what Ari does.
Cool. Can Harry give me a charisma saving throw?
I figured that would be coming, yes. Charisma saving throw. Okay.
It should be alright. Got a decent charisma.
Ooh, ooh,
Yeah,
ooh.
but Mel's
I
rolling
rolled
it.
No, but I rolled nice. I rolled a natural 19.
Ooh.
that's a 22.
Okay.
Jeez, oh.
So
That's on the
it's
Ari
almost as if across the bar, and you may have been in this scenario yourself, young Harry, where someone beckons you with a smile on their face, with a promise of a good night, and you sense that, and it sends a shiver up your spine, and you back away from it immediately, and then you just hear, "Very well, another night then." And the room feels different, empty. And your breathing settles. So, unless you tell me otherwise, I'm going to fast forward. But if you want to do anything, go.
Yeah, so assuming that this is like quite early in the morning when Ruby would be kind of getting up anyway, I'm like not sure what the bunking situation is, but Ruby will probably like stick her head in, appear, come to check that the coughing isn't like a death rattle.
It sounds like it. I mean, you've probably got a bit of a rush on, to be fair. As soon as Ruby hears it,
Yeah.
Ruby's going to say, "Oh shit," nip in and see Harry not dead. Like it's that sort of coughing attack.
Yeah, so you're getting a bit of a fussing over Mel.
I think you muted, Mel.
Oh.
Oh no, you came back. You came back.
Oh, no.
You know? Honestly, it was just silent for that few words where you were like, "No, don't worry about it."
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You can tell what I was saying anyway, it's fine.
Yeah. I'm an expert in
Yeah,
lip reading.
if it's actually don't worry about it, it's Ruby's not even going to dignify that with a response. It doesn't even get a raised eyebrow. It just gets like the flat look.
He'll kind of look around and just check that like Xandria's not like fully in.
You
he knows
rarely
that she'll
sees
know.
She's still-
Andrea. She's not
Yeah.
even in a bunk. Even in the bunk room, she's on the floor. She don't like the sway of the bunk.
Under the bed.
Yeah,
Wedged
the ship
and-
sways less than the hammock. But yes,
I feel like he's probably thoroughly sick of people fussing over him. Goes outside, and like probably tries to distract himself a little bit. And probably will take a little look at his new rapier.
Okay. Oh,
Ruby's followed you out. She's sort of like sat on a crate, swinging her little faces because she's short, just watching you,
Like normally, I
vibing
feel
because
like
she's
he'd
up and no one
probably-
else is up.
the only two
He'd probably
people.
be trying to train with it a little bit, but
Okay.
he can feel that something ain't right, and we probably shouldn't push it right now. So he's probably more just kind of like giving it a
Casually
bit of a
move
clean and a bit
through.
of a sharpen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you? I don't know if you already have looked into its properties. Ari hasn't yet had the time to do
I
so, have you?
have.
But
Ari
Ari hasn't yet.
hasn't.
So
Yeah.
you could take this time to feel through the properties that you are very aware of within it, and you know, your bardic knowledge at least will tell you spending some time with a magical item, assuming it doesn't attack you, will release
Hang
its...
on. 1 second. 1 second.
You're going to identify
Suddenly
it.
remembered my bardic knowledge. He'll probably mutter something, and he has kind of done this before instinctually.
Okay.
He will cast, but not knowing that he's casting, revealing risolato.
Ah, identify. So you start singing to yourself under your breath, sort of a tavern shanty, just a bit of a jolly tune, just to take you away from the stress of the last day or two. And as you do, the magic comes from your voice, wraps around the blade, and reveals its properties to you, which Mel, you already have. Yep. So Ari is now aware of what he can do with the gift from Selena. Is it the Siren's Kiss? Or the Kiss of the Siren?
Siren's kiss.
There you go. The only people up here of the crew are Nicolette, as expected, dealing with the air spirit, and Dantis, the Goliath, the young Goliath lass that is tipped to be the next captain when she's big enough, even though she's like 4'6" at the minute. And there's yourself and Ruby. You notice Ruby is nearby. Ruby, do you get involved in Ari's lazy flinging of the sword? I mean, there seems to be purpose in it, but it is casual.
No, she's probably seen Ari fence or shadow fence or whatever before, and obviously Ruby knows magic when it's happening, so she's not going to like actively interrupt a spell, but when he's finished and he's sort of like considered like oh, this is the information I've got, she'll just sort of like idly go, you're getting good at magic.
Don't use it very often. Not really something that I was ever taught as a kid. Seems to have kind of come on more recently. I don't know. It's a bit weird.
It's funny, it's not something... No one ever really taught me magic either. It's not... I mean, I know the wizards, they learn and they take lessons and they get clever about it, but...
Stefan had like so many lessons when we were kids, but it was always kind of frowned upon for me to look towards the bards, which is where I kind of naturally kind of gravitated towards. But my dad didn't like it, so he was just like, "No, you must train in the sword, and that's only the sword, and that's the thing." And I'm like, "Cool." But yeah.
Ruby gives him a cheeky grin and goes, your dad's not here now.
No, he's not. But this sort of is interesting. Hopefully it can help us. I think Selena's given me a very nice gift, to be honest. I think it'll be a little more helpful to us than something that's trying to constantly kill everybody around it. So, always good.
I mean, it's a low bar, but we'll take what we get.
See, you were never really taught magic, you just kind of happened. I know like the druids around the wall like are kind of focused on like healing because obviously the wall and we'd always have beams and. But other than that, we don't really have kind of that much of a magic really. Like I said, the bards would do things, and the wizards obviously would do tons of things. And that stupid thing if you step on and come out, then you'd be like, what? Why are you doing that?
Half the things that wizards do. I mean, where do they get these ideas? No, it's. And it's like you can see that there's little cogs working in several languages as she's trying to explain, like you're trying to explain to somebody how you move your arm, because it's just something that she's always been able to do, but she gradually kind of gets to the point where it's like, you know what you want, and you can see what you want, so you just have to see how it fits into everything else.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what I've been kind of using. I've not been taught it, I've not learned it out of a book, I'm just seem to be able to do more things than I used to, which is weird. Like, how would I know what to do with looking at a sword other than stab people with it? It's just weird, but cool, you know?
Like Ruby really doesn't have the vocabulary to try to explain that everything is part of the universe and it all sort of like.
I don't know. I feel like he'd probably switch into Sylvan because he can see that she's struggling,
Yeah,
and they've been together enough.
Like even it's a concept. It's like Ruby does not have the edge.
No.
It's like because it is again so fundamental to the fabric of everything. She might as well be trying to explain quantum physics to you, no matter how well she could like innately interact with it. It's.
He'll probably kind of see that she's struggling though and kind of move away from it because he understands that like the greater philosophies are not exactly.
So in demonstration instead, she will find some small item and snap it in half, and then cast mending, and she's. And then snaps it in half again and hands it to Ari. Like, you can see how they should be, you can see how they were, and yeah, kind of like holding the two halves, like one in each hand, like out to Ari, like, you get it, right? You could do it if you wanted to.
He'll kind of just be like, look, he doesn't know how he's casting magic, so he just kind of like looks at them.
Do you have mending?
No.
Cool. What cantrip? What do you?
It's something that Ruby picked to sort of like an.
Does Ari have?
Oh, he does have prestidigitation though.
Well,
be an interesting one.
You know how Ruby feels about washing her clothes and having a bath.
Give me an Arcana check.
Mel strikes again. Natural one.
Nay.
So is that what other cantrip do you have? What other cantrips do you have?
I've got message, prestidigitation, and I've got one of the cool ones. 1 second.
Just a
second.
I've got one of the cool ones and them 2 other ones.
Oh, I've got rousing chorus, which is a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls.
Okay, so as you stare at this broken stick, say, one of the many twigs in Ruby's hair, you stare at it and you understand the concept. I mean, Stefan is a prodigy, so you know it's always around you. You are of a Raven home. You can cast magic yourself in a more unsure of how to tap into it, but aren't so surprised when it happens. But you're surprised it's happening to you, but you're not surprised there's magic happening, if that makes sense. Yeah. So you concentrate on it, and what you actually do is send message to Dantis, the young Goliath lass, and all she hears is, "Come on, just mend it, fix it." What is Ruby? Like, I get it, but I can't do this. Like, yay. Can they respond to message? They can, can't they?
Yep.
You hearing your voice. I can't fix it either. Do you need help? And you just see
Stack's talking to me.
Oh, Twiggy. You see, you notice the
launches it
direction
overboard.
of the magic.
Demons.
And you see, yeah, get away, Ruby. But you just see Dantis with 2 buckets of water just staring at you, like trying to respond back on the message. You're aware you've cast it, like you're aware you've projected the magic. Ruby, the stick don't get mended.
No.
Sorry, Dan, didn't mean to disturb you. I was just trying something.
What are you trying? Just trying out some magic and stuff, like trying to fix. You do magic?
Things. Ish.
Kestus walks past.
No magic.
What sort of magic can you do? And she puts the 2 buckets of water down and just walks over to you 2.
I can send a message across without having to talk.
Can you manipulate stuff? Like the elements around you, or can you summon stuff? Some of this lot can summon creatures from like the Fey realms or the elemental realms. I'm pretty handy with earth and stone. Sometimes when it gets a bit stormy I can harness a thunderclap, but Captain Short kicks off.
Done that. Points at Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby's like reining back the let's geek out about elemental magic, because that will be the next 48 hours for Ruby if she's found someone interested. So she will acknowledge that yes, as a druid she does deal very much again with the elemental magic, although she's not really as familiar with the air, like the thunder and stuff, which is very impressive, and she'd be interested in seeing that sometime. And it's
so during your trip you will discover
interesting
that Dantis is a sorcerer who specialises in abjuration and likes to use things like stone, murderous stone wall of anything stone related, and the thunder and lightning is her bang when she comes to her sorcerousness.
Ness.
She's not of a wielder of power such as yourselves, but if she did the same stuff you lot did, she would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, if she kills more dire rats in the tavern cellars, she'll quickly catch up.
But yeah, Ruby will kind of use this as a sort of offshoot to its like it's all very personal as well, and it depends on who you are and what you want and what you're good at. And you know, because she's feeling cheeky, you're good at talking, so you can talk without moving your mouth. What else you good at?
Are you asking Harry or Dantis?
Harry.
Yeah.
I would be like, pretty good at like being quiet when I want to be. Dabbing things.
So yeah, Ruby will like consider this and can like that kind of area of Ari's skull, like the more roguey kind of stuff, and think through if there's anything that she has in common with him, and there actually is. So for fun, I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace, and I'm not going to go rummaging for the card because I'm assuming we get another long rest before the end.
You do.
Of the yeah.
Narrative required. Funny that.
So Ruby will cast it on herself and Dantis, but not Ari. And then, as I recall, what it does is it gives you a plus 10 to stealth. So I am going to make a quick stealth check, and I'm going basically to encourage Dantis to do the same. Not in those words, but sort of like, you know, it's fun. We're playing with magic. Let's play hide and seek. So I rolled a 17, and I can't remember what stealth is based on. Give me a second.
Dexterity.
So I've just, so that was a 19 plus the 10.
So 29.
So 29. Ruby sort of like.
Can I roll a perception and see if I can see them?
You,
So, yeah.
as a wise man once said, I can give it a go.
Give it a go. I mean, I've got some good. I forgot just how good his bonuses are, but you know, this is also me. Hey, it's 16 on the dice. I like that. Oh, it's pretty close actually. 24.
So as keen-eyed as you are, young eagle, Ruby and Dantis do the whole count to 10, Harry, and you count to 10, and they disappear somewhere on the ship when you count to 10 and look.
Yeah, that's pretty clever. And he'll kind of like go and see like just how far she could have moved and kind of where she might be hiding, etc. So kind of like actually go and have a little look for them.
Dantis will pop their head out. I go, do I need to keep hiding?
And from immediately behind Ari, Ruby will tell her that no, she can do as she pleases. It was just for fun to see if he would be able to see us.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I've still got work to do.
Cool.
Captain will kick off if I don't get it done, so I'm gonna leave you two lovely magic wielders. But just
Nice chatting.
Dantis just walks off, picks up the buckets of water and goes about
Cheerful
it.
wife.
I imagine Kess is just walking past with a bottle of beer, just like.
Yeah, well, somebody got left to clean up the blood and ichor in the bunk room, didn't he? Thankfully, he has 100 and odd years plus of experience from clearing that out of shit. So it's like, oh, everything's changed now, hasn't it?
Okay, for some.
Yes.
Ruby, Harry, as you were.
Yeah, it was like literally right behind you. Like, were you 6 foot and Ruby's 5'4", so like literally right by your shoulder.
Maybe.
Well, if I can do that, what could you do? Because you're a lot sneakier than I am.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think I've used that one before.
Well, when we were in a forest, it's easy because you just step everyone between the leaves. Out here, it's easy because you just step between the raindrops. It's you find the space where no one's looking for you, and just sort of like vaguely gestures at the
He'll
space
kinda, like, look
somewhat in front of
around.
her.
Yeah, but like because obviously he has kind of been trained in the roguey type things. He's been trained in being sneaky. He will kind of like get what she's saying and just kind of look for like the little pockets where like he'd normally like go and hide, and then kind of like try and expand that out a little bit and try and give it a go.
The same as when you were wielding the sword. Just as more of a confidence thing or settling of nerves, you just start humming maybe just the words going through your head of another tavern song you've heard somewhere. You just kind of get into the bounce of it, just to settle your nerves, just to like, come on, Harry. And it seems to be igniting your ability to propel whatever arcane Wizwas is within. And you can use that to channel and cast whatever it is you are trying to cast.
Fabulous. I mean, let's try rolling it because this would be fun.
12.
Yeah, what would be terrible now? Oh wait, it's a natural 14.
Shit.
I can't even add up.
So you're on 24 already.
14 plus 13.
So 27
Which
plus your
is
10, you're on 37.
7 plus 10.
Jesus.
Shit, the bed. Harry's in the kitchen.
So yeah, as Ari sort of like steps away from her and all but like disappears into thin air, Ruby just like giggles and like applauds because it's clearly, you know, we can't fix shit, but we can disappear when we want to.
He'll kind of like pop back in and just be like, did it work?
You completely disappeared.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Thank you, Ruby.
The dragon attacks.
Yeah.
Dragon!
And he'll kind of like just probably actually hug Ruby, which, you know, I
you
feel
get
like you probably see that often.
you get a rib breaker back.
So whilst you spend the rest of your time fanning it out, that you're now mighty wielders of the arcane, does anyone else wish to do anything before you approach the Darshal Educian?
Yeah.
Go on, Sapphire.
How long does Pass Without Trace last?
I think it's an hour.
What pranks
An
do
hour.
I have to negotiate with Ari that he may and may
God.
not pull on the
Oh
others?
no.
Or are we going pranking people together, given that we've both got Pass Without Trace cast on us?
Well, also it affects other people as well.
Only
If
by
you cast
choice.
it on other people, yeah, you can. I
Each
believe.
creature you choose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Sapphire,
S-
while
I-
they're discussing
I was-
water ballooning people,
Essentially, what Sapphire is going to do is Sapphire is going to wait until it's like late at night
okay,
and
like midnight late or like 2 in the morning late.
like 2 in the morning late.
Okay.
You know, Sean's bedtime.
Yeah.
And we'll just to make sure everyone's kind of chill and hopefully to catch Sensei Rin asleep. Sapphire's going to burn his entire 8 key points into trying
Okay.
to talk to Sensei Rin. He wants to try and get like his mind is going, this will get me past the fiend for sure. This won't be a problem.
Obviously.
Obviously.
But he would have told people before they went to bed that
Who-
this was a plan. He
who-
would catch people up.
Who are the people? Just all your
So-
party? The crew?
Yeah, would have
Just
got
Cass?
no, not the crew, just the party. But he would have told all of them. Would have got them in a group and had a quick explainer of, you know. So Sensei Rin is alive, but he physically looks exhausted and he's somehow magically tethered to something fiendish. It was trying to block me from seeing him.
Just
Damn it. Yes, Cassian?
Is the something fiendish possibly just someone with fiendish ancestry?
It could well be. Like, I'm not saying it's definitely a bad thing. I'm just saying that they had horns and they sensed me, and they said curiosity killed the cat.
Are they incorrect?
No, but that's why I'm telling you all. because
Are
I think
you
it's a-
trying to prove them right?
No, I am trying to find out what's going on with Sensei Rin.
Is it possibly someone with Sensei Rin's best interests at heart that's trying to keep them safe because, you know, you're kind of connected to the very entities of death that are trying to take them out and they might be able to see what you can see? Just putting it out there.
I mean, I didn't get the feeling that they were looking out for best interests, but them being able to see what I can see is a point I hadn't considered.
I mean, I can't stop you. You're gonna do whatever you're gonna do, big guy. So,
another beer
just
for
stuff
Cass?
to consider.
I'll wait. I'll see if someone can do something at the school that's safer. Someone that isn't me.
And maybe not in the middle of the sky.
Well, it's not like
t-shirt.
we get a lot of downtime, you know. Once we hit the
Yeah,
ground,
but-
we're gonna hit the ground running.
Physically down in a controlled manner, then we can try and take it from there. I'm sure there's going to be some wizards who is desperately interested in this one weird type of magic that you need. That's what they do, isn't it? So if we're going to the experts, we might as well get an expert to do it. Yeah?
Yeah, you're right. Sapphire's a bit sulky, but yeah, he agrees. Very much sulky teenager vibes, but yeah, no, he's
Closes the
agreed that that's
door.
probably a good idea.
And cast meditate.
No, he will, like, he probably won't sleep that night.
Okay.
But he'll probably stay out on deck and maybe help if people need help doing anything around the ship. But yeah, he's gonna agree that it was a thing that he hadn't considered, and that would be potentially putting Rin in danger.
Before she'll like go to bed for the evening, leaving Sapphire on deck, Ruby, you know, sensing his petulant vibe, will just don't be disheartened, Sapphire, because you know the other half of that saying, don't you?
Yeah, I do, but then I'll be tempted to do it anyway, and I've done enough of poking my nose in where it shouldn't be in the last few months. I'll wait until we're in the place, at least, and see if there's a safer way to do it that isn't going to potentially make things worse for the sensei.
I didn't mean to leap in. I just meant don't lose it. We will find him.
At least he's alive. It's better than I thought the other day, so to start.
We'll find him, and well, like the other half of the same, we'll bring him back.
Cool.
He kind of tousles her hair, gets hands stuck in the tangles a little bit, but
He also gets like a proper flaps at kind of.
A proper flatsat.
Like it's not just a sort of, you know, these are. Ruby's got a strength check. This isn't just to like, oh, get off. You know, these are slaps that these connect.
Sapphire
Flailing with purpose.
mocks her. So, as you go to sleep, Sapphire, when you wake up, or when you next wake up, there is a goblet that is identical from the one that you drunk from. It is on a small side table next to where your bunk is. There is a single strip of parchment on it, and written in a dark, crimsony, dried red ink is the word soon. And a laugh like that you hear echo.
Sapphire will join the party for breakfast, put both things down on the table, and kind of slump into seat. Looks over at Kess. Yeah, you were probably right.
I swear on every dry dacker, if you've drunk out of that cup, I am going to throw
I
you
haven't
off
drunk
this
out of the damn cup! Damn!
Technically.
Well,
Next time!
Yeah.
No,
So-
I get that they're trying to prove a point. I get it. Yeah. Their point has been made, and I'm very much agreeing with your points now. I will. But, I mean, I'll keep these things and see if the wizards in the know anything about them. This is blood, then they might be able to trace it or something. I don't know. I don't know how wizardry works.
Nobody does.
Full flash, no trousers.
We'll see. So, as the
They don't wear
sky ship,
trousers, they wear robes.
as the sky ship is approaching its destination, and you see the southern coastlines of Ravenholm, you are now well within half a day's flight to Alafen, the town that hosts the enormous, and from what you can see approaching, you can see the structure in the distance. Not the details of it, but it is massive. Like, this fortress upon this cliff face is huge. Great towers reaching skyward, heavy stone. Detail will be revealed the closer you get. But the thing that catches all of your eyes, including the crews, more so the crew, you lot decide as you so wish, but a open-mouthed expression, is the devastation of the province of the Eagles on this side of the wall. It is every exaggerated tale of battle that you've heard from parents, friends, made up yourselves, pretended to run around in the gardens or the sand dunes. It is as stereotypical as it can be. There are small fires amongst trees. There are vast swathes of broken land. The great ivory wall is shattered and broken and slanted. A shell of its former self. The devastation that has been brought upon the Eagle province is before you all, and you get to see a first-class view of it from this skyship. Captain Jasmine has gone amongst most of the crew, just giving them pats on the shoulders. You gather that they probably had a friend or two in the province, where they're reacting. Some of them might just be reacting out of the sheer devastation that they're witnessing. Internally, Ravenholm has a unnecessary amount of pride that is sometimes hard to avoid, and you can see that on some of the crew. They don't believe what they're seeing. It is as if illusions are before them. But Jasmine is not her usual backflipping somersaulting self. She has been very formal amongst her crew and kind of settles them. She makes eye contact with you, Harry, more than once while she's walking amongst the crew, just because, you know, of who you are. There's more respectful nods to your friends. During your time on the ship, you do get the feeling that Jasmine has either been told or is seeing the situation as Aristotle of the Eagle Province and company. There's no mention of it. It's just her behaviour. You're an insightful chap, but that is just the behaviour of the captain and the crew. It's your own fault. But yeah, and it is for the rest of the flight. You will see the devastation that is upon the Eagle Province. You can see the copper colorations of the trees that you were told are hemming in the borders and essentially keeping all the fighting in the province. And you were told that it was the Jesuit and her, well, what remains of her peoples. And you can see it now, as if painted out before you. Do you wish to do anything this day? Or are you just going to eat, drink, acknowledge that there was blood messages, try and sneak away and meditate, try and cast fly whilst jumping off a skyship?
I think...
I don't need to, I can turn into a bird.
Yeah, try teaching that to her.
I think having seen just how, like, much of a hit this has taken to Sapphire, and all kind of the... Kess had pointed out information, but he hadn't meant it in a cruel way. But he feels like he's kind of like...
over-delivered.
Not even over-delivered, but like sometimes a friend needs a bit of tough love, but sometimes you kind of got to make sure that they get back up off the ground after you've hit them with the stupid stick a couple of times. So...
You've got to make sure it was actually love as well as tough.
No way, column, eh?
And especially with poor Sapphire now waking up to a see you soon kissy face, like note with a jar of blood beside it. Like he's aware of what he's done. You know why you've got the message. You'll kind of be like, So was this the school that your friend had ended up at, or was it one of the other? In the hopes that it'll kind of like jog Sapphire to thinking a little bit about something else, or like is this the one where that other person is at, or do you want to talk about it's pocket sand?
Yeah.
So before I
Harry's
answer that,
beyond helping right now. Let's deal with what we can.
I'll just double check. Did he go to the Kithlor Educian, or has he come to the Darshal Educian?
So, your friend went to the Kithlor Educian. That's where, when you last reached out to them,
That's where it was.
That's where they were, which is in Vey.
Yeah, the Vey version.
But you were originally coming to the Darshal Educian to speak to them about echoes and the possible location of Daelfin.
Yeah.
70 sessions ago.
No, I know.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I was like, I remembered that he went to
Yeah.
one, but I was like, I think it's the one in Vey, not
Yeah,
the one here.
he's at the Kithlor one, but it is one of the Educians.
Yeah, Sapphire will say to Cass, similar. There's 3 of them in the world. There's one in Etoria, there's one in Vey, and then there's the one here. He's gone to the Vey one, I'm assuming to do research because he's a nerd. But he's well, if they're people like him, then the people we're going to here they'll be clever. And like Sapphire does brighten a little bit because it's kind of reminded him that yes, another loved one he thought was dead is still alive. So it's like, oh yeah, that's true too.
It's all coming up, Sapphire.
They might have a way that you can better contact them. I would imagine they're all kind of interconnected to an extent, aren't they?
That's what I was hoping, because the way that, I mean, before I came to Ravenholm and met you all, I couldn't do this with my meditation. I could get general feelings of stuff, but I could reach out and like get like vibes maybe, but it was only once Daelfin started messing with me that I started seeing stuff. So
God knows where he ended up.
well, last time I saw him, he was in Vey. Yeah, I know you know, you asshole.
Bloody well hope you know.
Yeah.
Nottingham last I heard.
Yeah, last I saw of him, he was in Vey. I don't know where he would have ended up, but if they know about echoes here, maybe there'll be a way to track him too. But you're right, they probably have a much more sophisticated method of contacting the other
This place is
Educians.
going to be lousy with wizards. They're going to have a much more sophisticated way of doing a lot of stuff they don't need to. But you know what? If it helps and we manage to get any information out about what we need to find out going forwards, then
Well, if
take
the
the hit we can
information,
get.
yeah, if the magic information in these spell scrolls I've somehow created,
Yeah, you're practically a wizard yourself.
he grins.
Like shared look from both of the melee fighters. Like
It's just like yeah. Magic. Yeah, just kind of. Hopefully, this will. I mean, it sounded old and impressive from what Artarian said. So, I mean, hopefully, if we share this with them, because we're gonna need to, we'll get good favor with them straight away. He says, hopefully.
This is out and kind of gestures vaguely in the direction of the wizards' college. This is out with my understanding in all possible descriptions, but it seems like this is where everyone thinks we'll get the most assistance to do what we need to do, and I don't know any better than to argue it. So
It's not like we have a lot to lose from it.
I would say the continued existence of everything on this plane is pretty big, but
I meant more about the getting the information part, not the consequences of not getting the help and information.
I'll start Colossus 2.0, you bastards.
Hey, look, I'm trying to keep the wheels turning, my guy.
All of the parties unionize and just all give up at once. Yeah. You're
Just
right.
let them eat your hit.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to know anything, it's going to be the people here.
Here's hoping.
And we have picked up a rather large amount of knowledge in a very short time that hopefully they'll be able to give more context to.
Any context.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of puzzle pieces for a puzzle. We don't know what the picture is yet.
Or if it's even actually all pertinent to this puzzle.
Also true.
Drea, if you're down here, who's keeping an eye on Ari?
Everyone rushes upstairs to a dead Harry lying there, covered in black.
Hang on, no, isn't Ruby with Harry? Or is Ruby with us?
No, it's assuming. Well,
It's Wiz-Wazzy. It's Wiz-Wazzy.
when this.
Yeah, when this
Conversation.
conversation takes place. Yeah.
Yeah, so possibly Ruby. Well, maybe having discovered that they both can do that, Ruby and Ari have found a fun new game in hide and seek to play while we're.
In response to Kessa's question, the response from Zandria is,
Should you, you've seen the absolute devastation of his homeland up there. Maybe a little bit of, I don't know, emotional support would be.
And why is it my responsibility to give him emotional support?
It's not on my spell list.
Sapphire does like a very sarcastic, slow. You know why?
Sitting in a tree. Says one on the crew as they walk past.
Yeah, it's like all of Ravenholm knows.
Yeah.
Fine, I will go and look for our little eagle. And Andrea will just, as she's going off, just mumbling, stupid observant friends and family.
Sapphire immediately, like,
in Sylvan as well.
all troubles forgotten. Sapphire's just there grinning. She calls him Little Eagle.
Jesus, please no.
No.
My little summer pie, my little eagle.
Sapphire then kind of leaves, head back to the bunk room. He goes, I wonder if he calls it his Little Eagle as well.
God. Calls it the mighty eagle, don't you, Harry? Embrace.
Kess is wondering how quickly he'd die if he just flung himself off the side of the ship. Because it might be just better like this.
You're over water, so as long as you don't hit it too hard.
Why?
Hey, potato.
Yeah.
Either way, the problem is solved.
As you go upstairs, Andrea, Harry and Ruby are playing hide and seek. Harry is probably
Look how sheer
if
anger
Harry
in your face when you
Harry
said that.
is playing hide and seek, it's probably to distract himself from the scene he just witnessed. But it's constantly there for the flight into the Darshal Educian.
Yeah, I feel like he probably would have kind of seen it, frozen, gone, oh shit, because to himself because he forgot that he was going to be flying over that area, and then immediately went and did something else that wasn't looking over the side at the land that he grew up in, completely devastated.
So, Zandria, are you looking to speak with Harry or just eyes on?
That's
So-
a broom from the other side of the ship.
I know. Zandria will. She won't say anything, but obviously she will note the state of Harry. She will just walk up to him and just give him a hug. Like, no words given, just give him a hug.
Filth.
I know, right? And then, 7 seconds later, just kind of.
Like, right, that's it. Emotional support done.
Yeah.
Section action at cast on.
Well done, me.
Well done,
I
me.
think Harry probably did the same thing when they were going through the Copper Forest. He kind of did the same thing to both Tess and Andrea, so he gets it. when they were going through the copper forest and everything was devastated. We were
Yes,
like,
yes, we're all emotionally stunted.
Yeah. God, why can't we just play normal characters? I wonder.
No.
So,
Oh,
as your
normal.
emotions take flight towards the Darshal Educian, the second night passes. It is a bit more solemn. The crew are quiet throughout the rest of the day. There is less banter between them. Jasmine keeps that formal persona around the crew. And it's a bit of a, from their side of things anyway, a bit of a quiet, miserable night. When the sun rises, the rain is still going. Xandria, you feel it more. You feel the presence of Malika. Just present. There's nothing visual. You can't
Yeah.
spot, but there is a presence of her. Kesfern, you also feel it, but it's more of a somebody bumping into you in a corridor type thing. You turn like in a crowd, and someone bumped into you.
Checked by Malika.
Yeah, but you don't see who hip checked you, but you know who hip checked you. And then it fades after moments, but it's a comforting presence other than the hip check. As you approach this mighty fortress, and you see these grand designs of gargoyles, of a variety of creatures, and griffins and dragons and trolls and skeletons, and the attempts at the human features or elven features, dwarven features, lizard folk. There's all manner of sculpture and gargoyle and any other word of descriptive stonework you can think of, covering and surrounding the tower tops and walls, parapets I think it's called, the peaks of the rooftops. It is one of the grandest structures, including Harry, consider you live in Ravenholm, have ever witnessed in your lives. It is not the size of the Sapphire Pyramid in Portomea, back from where Caspian and Sandria live or have been through, but it is as grand. As you approach, the ship halts just in midair. You can see that it is upon a cliff. Look like they've took the top off a mountain and just placed this mighty fortress there. The road runs down from it down into the town of Alofen at the bottom of the cliff. A once heavy populated fishing town has got a lot of merchantry going through it for those that essentially middle folk it for those up at the Educian and those to the rest of wherever. It is very much a part of the province of the Eagle, and Alofen itself looks abandoned, emptied, silent. There is a small woodland beyond it that doesn't seem to have been touched, and there is almost a it feels abstract. This portion of the Eagle province seems to be separated from the rest of it, like a jigsaw piece removed and another one put there with the exact same shape but completely different artwork upon it. Nicolette, the glyph warden, seems to be in conversation with the air spirit and reports to the captain that the school, the Educian, have halted the magic of the air spirit, and they have sent message to Nicolette, recognising they are one of arcane arts, and asked why we approach. And as the captain comes to ask why we've approached, you will have the break to think of your answer. Because I need a wee.
Damn.
So,
I've been holding it for a while.
yeah. So we're going to have a quick break. You guys can do what you need to do. Have a quick, what do we tell them? And then we'll go from there. Right, we'll be back in a sec, folks. Don't go anywhere. Except for, yeah, see you in a bit. Hello? We should be
Bonjour.
back. There we go. Hello, nerds. Right. You have, just before the break, witnessed death for the 400th time this campaign. You are currently stationary in the sky before the immense, immaculate, mighty fortress of the Darshal Educian. Word has been sent to Nicolette, the glyph warden of the enchanted assassin skyship, asking, the fuck are you doing here? And the captain has turned to you lot.
We're
looks
here
around.
following Lord Romeric's message that he sent ahead for us.
Jasmine relays that to Nicolette. Tell him the gaffer sent us. Moment passes. Bit of an uncomfortable moment passes. Nicolette looks back at the captain. Whispers in their lovely whispery voice. Jasmine signals the crew, and the ship kind of slowly comes out of its anchored state and is able to move again. Well, it seems they're letting us in. So, well played all time there, I say. Good on you, Romerick. Old Rommers. No, let's not tell him I said that. Anyway, forwards. And she heads up. And the ship flies through the illusion of this mighty fortress. And what you actually see is a devastated castle ruin. As if a meteor hit it. It is absolutely in a state. Greenery growing all over it where age, as you know, people have just let it. It's unkept. It is a broken ruin of a fortress.
Sorry, can I just clarify, based on the greenery there, this is not something that was recently flattened by a meteor.
It's old.
This has looked this way
Looks
for
like
a
a
long
ruin.
time.
Looks like a ruin.
As balls, I believe, is the
Yeah.
common.
It's the difference. Yeah, basically, it's like is Ruby like
Not
mentally
City
rolling
of the
bandages
Eagles
and
fucked.
It's
It's
an
like
ancient
long
ruin.
term.
right?
You're
Okay.
expecting Indiana Jones to come flying out of it anytime. It is
Excellent.
old as Harrison Ford. You as you approach, there doesn't seem to be shock and awe in the crew. They're just kind of a little bit confused. You look behind you and it's a beautiful blue sky. It appears that the illusion may work both ways as the ripples hit when you come in. It's no longer raining. You can hear the sounds of battle all around you, but it's like distant. So distant, it reminds you of the realm of echoes when the sound wasn't as accurate as it could be. But it does embolden the ancientness of this place, like you are hearing the battles of spirits from a time long ago. What you do see below are a handful of people, maybe a dozen, moving around and kind of coming through the ruins, half through the broken stairs. Some seem to levitate up to a higher platform. Ladders get dropped over the side of the sky ship. You are now fully above this ruined fortress. Well, they said, climb down, they'll meet you. Drinks all round. They worded it a little bit differently, but you might be getting a free meal and a drink. We've been told to stay here, not to leave the vicinity, under polite request. And yeah, I've decided to accept.
Yeah, that sounds probably like a good plan.
Yeah, so Ruby like listens to the wording of that and the words that aren't being said, and also knowing how halflings tend to just like blasé understate stuff. Looks at the party and is like, so we're prisoners now then.
Not no, but best behaviour.
Okay.
The people below, do we recognise any of the people below?
Give me a perception check as you look over.
Oh Jesus, I've got to roll.
They're all step.
Oh,
Yeah.
Army.
Level 10 mirror image.
No.
24.
24. So you don't recognise them, but you do pick out humans, the giant born, so like the Goliath folk. There's an elf, the long ears in Vey attire. There is a soul forge down there. There is a almost. They seem to be hunched and ready to pounce, but they don't look animalistic in nature. But they've kind of got that behaviour about them. There is, at first, what you believe to be Celestina stood down there, but when they turn, you realise it's not her. There is someone in a blue tabard covered in lilies. There is a half-elf kind of sat to one side. She doesn't seem to be making her way up the stairs or anything, any of the broken stairs. You've got somebody sat on top of the broken stonework a bit closer to where the ladders drop off, hood up, kind of down. They definitely look like they spend their time stalking the gloom, as one would think. There is someone in the tabards of the falcons, and there is a massive loxodon. For those that don't know, Minotaur with an elephant head. Well, anyone watch Baba? Was it Alibaba? What was it? What was the...
Barbar. Oh my god.
Jesus.
Baba.
Yeah, it was a rhino was the other king, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is he wearing
I
a
knew
blue
you were
suit
about-
like Baba?
It's that's what it is. In fact, we're doing that as his next campaign. Yes! We're all rhinos and elephants.
Question. You're saying we make out. How high up are we? Like this rope.
So they've brought you to the top of where the castle ruins are.
Yeah.
So if you were to climb down the rope, it'd be like a 5-foot drop to the ruined parapets.
Oh, okay.
Like
Cool.
they've come
Yeah, how
right
long is
in.
the rope ladder?
They've
I
come
think.
right in. Oh,
Yeah.
It's long enough. Or do you need an
No.
actual...
No,
So I'm working out how far between us going over the side to feet on.
terra firma.
Oh, thanks for the raid. Why didn't that alert us? My alert box didn't work. Thank you for the raid. Woo!
Welcome in, Raiders.
Explore the beyond. They've met an elephant. It is a good 50 foot of ladder. And then a 5-foot drop from the ladder to the stonework.
Yeah, and then Ruby's next question after the, all right, okay, we could deal with whether or not we've been imprisoned when we get to the bottom of the ladder, but the next question is Xandria and is Ari going to physically or emotionally, respectively, be able to make it down this ladder?
I think those have now switched.
The
big
Xandria's not going to like this very much at all. Will she be able to hack it? Can Ari physically do this?
Xandria just hasn't enjoyed the experience. She's not incapacitated in any way, shape, or form. Since Ari decided to do the switcheroo of the evil inside Xandria, Xandria looks like the stories of old, the glowing summer fae of, glory and fire and passion.
She's just gonna blank down.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Just
She's like, I don't like ladders.
dimension
Misty
door
step.
straight down.
Yeah. Ari, on the other hand, can physically do it, but will be close.
Yeah.
I would say if somebody
They
was
gotta be
launching
fast.
arrows at Ari would have to be, I don't know, throwing a dice or two. But without the stress of an attack, Ari should be able to make it down the ladders without dying.
Sure.
Either way, like a quick mental math of the layout and how Ari is currently holding himself, he's going to get popped between Sapphire and Kess on the climb down.
The strength.
Yep,
characters.
Sapphire's prepped for his slow fall ability, just in case.
Yeah, Ruby is poised to just turn into any bird large enough to just be nope.
Right.
As in the realm of echoes, eyes on both of them.
Jasmine is stood
Once
right
more.
next to the ladder. Well, we'll remain here until you need to fly back. Romerick says you've got us for the return journey if need so. I'll wait for further information or messages to say otherwise. Or for our incredible honoured guests, hosts, whatever. Honoured. Just looks back at you a lot, please. Just don't die. Romerick will kill me if they don't.
We'll be as quick as we can, I can assure you. And if no one else is wanting to hop over first,
I was about to say, should Ruby go first because she's least likely to be able to catch someone, so she doesn't want to be like between people, but she's not going to have any trouble, so she can just
chase your bliss.
whoop on down.
Also, you've got wings,
Yeah.
so
D&D, kids. Put a ladder in front of a pie. They'll fight a dragon with a ladder.
yeah, but it's a 50-foot ladder through the air,
I
my
mean,
guy,
I mean,
and it doesn't
alright.
seem attached to anything at the bottom.
I am quite literally just going to dimension door down.
It's gravy time. So while you lot are going, you go on the ladder first, I'll go on the ladder first. You're doing it, Xandri
It's
goes.
just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ruby will then just climb over the side, start climbing down the ladder.
I think I can take somebody with me.
Dimension door, I think you can.
Yeah,
if
I
they're
can bring
willing,
along
yeah.
objects as long as their weight doesn't exceed what I carry. I can also bring one willing creature the same size as me or smaller.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
I could
Can
theoretically
crouch.
just take Ari and
Yeah.
just make life easy.
Yeah.
has to be willing.
Are you willing?
Does he know about it?
If I go up to Ari and go, we'll just use the magic door instead of climbing down the ladder so you don't fall to your death.
Probably a good plan.
I've just got this like parody image of Sinbad grabbing the you know the old 70s movies
Yeah.
with the damsel in distress like on the rope swinging off, but it's
Just Harry over his shoulder like a thing of...
literally fireman's lift. Harry over
Yeah.
magic door done.
I mean, he was
Quite-
already like that anyway beforehand. Never mind, like getting, constituted into having something evil in him. It's fine.
Yeah, so Xandria will literally just wave a hand, magic doorway appears, walk through, it's down the other side.
You land on the ruined parapets of this castle.
We'll go down the ladder.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you all descend into Avernus, onto the ruined platform, the ladder is like literally whoever's last. As soon as they put their foot on the stone, the ladder is brought up. You can't see Captain Jasmine and her aka Short wiping her brow, but you can feel it. Floating towards you on an arcane disc just big enough for one. You see what appears to be a human. The clothing they are wearing is of one that would work with like metal, not necessarily a blacksmith, but they'd work with things that require them to wear thick leather gloves. The clothing they're wearing is leather, but more for work-orientated tasks and not armour.
It's PPE.
It's PPE. They're in PPE, but it's expensive PPE. She, even though she has a human sort of appearance, her skin is actually white scales, but as in, like they've been tattooed on rather than are white scales. Her eyes are a bluish colour. The white scales kind of enhance the blue, but it's not the blue of the eyes themselves that are bright. It's just the collaboration with the white scales. Her ears seem to be finned, like fish finned, and they're really close to the side of her head. She has long dark hair that flows all around her head. She appears to be middle-aged, extremely tall, like near the same height as she looks taller than Sapphire just because she's thin, but if they were stand side by side, you've probably got an inch or two on her. But she is very large, very tall, and she just floats up on this disc. She does a long, polite, formal bow, and then addresses Ari. Welcome, brother of Stefan, of the Eagles. It has been a very, very long time indeed since I witnessed Aristotle, Sebastian, Rycroft. Word has it you came quite the artist with the rapier, or so Nikolai would tell us. Welcome to the Darshal Educian, young Ari. I am Xerxes, and one of the high mentors of the Educian. There are, and just gestures to the plethora, like the nearer a dozen folk around her at different levels of these ruins. If introductions are needed, I will provide them, but there are student and mentor, as all we are is all you see. Have you eaten, been watered? Do you require rest? Lord Romerick sent word that you were arriving. We have made accommodation for your stay if it is for longer than a night. You may call me Mentor Xerxes. I apologize. You may call me Xerxes. And as she offers her hand, she like when she did the bow, she took her gloves off, same white scales. Not scaled, just seems to be tattooed, but it's not tattooed, it's very much part of her.
He'll nod towards her very respectfully and kind of a nod bow. Almost. Very sort of formal back, and will very much be like, thank you, Mentor Xerxes. We are all okay. We were very well taken care of on the airship. Sorry, didn't realise we'd met before.
You were very small. It is when your younger brother was first brought here. You were a bundle of energy, and I was a youth myself.
That makes sense. Well, nice to meet you again. It's been many years.
So, how is the old sword master?
He's doing fine. Completely lying through his teeth.
Give me a deception check. This is a high mentor of an elite.
Yeah.
No! Why do I do this to myself? Oh, I forget
There's
how
no
good my
thoughts,
deception
head
is.
empty.
This is why the other brother went to the wizard school.
Yes!
And you got to hit things.
25.
Yeah.
They stare at you for a brief second as you hold your lie.
Honest girl.
Yeah. And she just simply nods. Well, maybe we can speak of memories of Nikolai later in the evening.
That's wizard for I know you're full of shit.
Yep. It is. Equally, he's not going to go into anything pertinent when they're surrounded by a bajillion people.
You do, all of you notice that the dozen people you see before you, there's nobody else. There's no people working the castle, there's no, I mean, Sapphire yourself, you've been part of classes at the temples where there are 30 students, if hundreds of students sometimes in the big courtyards, following mentor instructions or sensei instructions, and everyone's falling in, and the vibe of school, is very much not here.
I think the Sibs are kind of having a similar energy of you thought this was going to be bigger, right?
Yeah,
there was more people in the sword classes when we were in tents,
yeah,
traveling through the sand than there. But never been to wizard school. Maybe that's just how they all look.
Sapphire is far less subtle and goes, "Where is everybody?"
How so?
I don't know. I assumed that I was expecting hustle and bustle. Like,
the Darshal Educian is known for its one-to-one teachings. If you are to travel to the Dynasty, and gestures at you, Sapphire, and some of your attire, you will notice that the Kith-Law Educian will host more among its classes. If you are to travel to Atoria, you will witness a similar structure among their students and high mentors. Whereas here in Ravenholm, we have established ourselves as one-to-one tutorage for those that excel and require their gifts to be guided.
Interesting.
Well, I can't stay on this disc all day, so if you would do me the honour of accompanying me to the lower levels where we can at least have a roof over our head and share a drink, maybe some afternoon nibbles. See, there's a real tiny smile. And just gestures to the more recently made staircase that leads to the lower levels. Again, it's all like broken, ruined platforms. And they start to float, and every now and then look over their shoulder to see if you're following.
Definitely follow down the staircase.
Yep.
Yep, same.
And looking at Ruby, I guess, as well, because he knows how Ruby reacts to really formal situations.
So far, Ruby has decided that discretion is the better part of valor, and maybe they won't notice her, and then she won't have to get cross with nobody. She's not liking the vibe here. She's used to there being a small number of people in a lot of space, but this doesn't feel like a village or a farm where there's just more space than is necessary for any one given person. Based on the fact that everyone else kind of expected there to be more people, she's a bit more reserving judgment on this. But also they are from Ravenholm, which means so reserved judgment, quiet behaviour for now.
Ari recognised the name Xerxes from anything that Stefan might have mentioned.
Stefan will have mentioned them as a mentor at the school. Probably never described them. Stefan's 2 would have more likely described his spell books to you than people.
Far too esoteric for that. Yes.
I don't know what that word means, but I will agree with you. But sounds like something Stefan would say.
Exactly.
So yeah.
That's why that word came to me, obviously.
But yeah, you will recognise the name. It isn't a Ravenholm name, if there is such a thing. Like, probably the only Xerxes you've ever heard of is from when Stefan spoke of one of the mentors. Stefan never mentioned numbers. Just again, it just wasn't part of what he was excited to tell you about when coming home.
Would be all his teachings and all like what happened and all the
Yeah.
things that he was learning. Yeah.
As far as Stefan's concerned, teacher taught him some stuff. The bit of there was only him being getting taught never even entered the sentence. As you move down, you probably, in fact, Sapphire, you'll, even Ruby, you'll know it. You'll all recognise hierarchy, the way people's body behaviour is among other folk. Having a quick scan, time in the temples, time as learning your warrior traits on the sands. Ruby just growing up in someone's always leading, the work, so you don't just get slackers because too many halflings in the kitchen and all that. There are around 8 students, or at least definitely answer to the 4 older looking folks that are there, one of them being Xerxes. So 8 students-ish and 4 mentors is what you gather as you make your way down. As you do make your way down, you do see that the castle is a ruin, but there are still parts of it that are accessible as, the 1 or 2 rooms that are still left intact. And by 1 or 2 rooms, it's a large fucking castle that was ruined. So these remaining parts are still hefty, still far bigger than some of the castles in their entirety, the smaller forts. Xerxes, as you meet her at the bottom of the stairs to the, I'd say, groundish level, the disc disappears as she steps off it smoothly and kind of falls in next to Ari. The other three mentors follow behind. We'll get to their beautiful descriptions in a moment. And Xerxes, she leads you through a short hallway where half of it is missing and is exposed to the outside, and then to a huge wooden door that she just full-on Jedi moves, and it opens. Beyond it is a dining hall that you are used to, Ari, or at least amongst the nobles. It is well decorated, well looked after. Dark red leathers on the chairs, long oaken stained wood tables and chairs, chandeliers. It has a like kind of smoking room-esque about it. Please take a seat. Myself and the other mentors will be available to discuss. Lord Romerick said you wished conversation. Maybe there are knowledges we have or don't have or can acquire. If you wish food and drink, and she just clicks her fingers, and a buffet of meats and vegetables and fruits just all appear in a long buffet-esque row down this table. Goblets of wine and water. Ruby, you recognise the magic similar to create food and water, but it's less rural and more fancy. And Xerxes will offer for you all to sit before any of the mentors do. Ruby.
Yeah.
One of the mentors is a halfling.
Mm-hmm.
They are practically clothed, as in clothed in practical clothing. That was a weird sentence.
Yeah,
They're
no,
practically
I'm
clothed. They have a kilt that is. It's got a. Need to bring this up before I fuck it up. Oh, look at all this stuff we wrote. Where are you? They have the tartan of, where are you bastard? Brown and silver. Which, if you give me a history check.
That is a 13. That'll be a flat 13 because history's int.
That's fine. So, one of the more well-known clans in the Tauren Highlands is Clan Elaine. They wear the tartan of brown and silver, and from your, the major clans are known, but unless you're, hanging out with them every 5 seconds and deliberately looking for them instead of doing your job on the farm, you don't overly know what their persona is.
Jimmy stated probably one of each of them, so...
Oh, well, if Jimmy were here, he could tell you. But they're known for their artistry, whether it be paint to canvas, woodwork, that sort of thing. They are more likely to make you a wooden ornament rather than a stable. They have an artistry to their craft. But yes, Clan Elaine. Alain, so A. Abacus. There we go.
Yeah.
But yes, so back to... His hair is similar coloration to Jimmy's, and where it comes into a ponytail at the back, where the tie is, the loose bit is actually braided. Maybe 6 braids just from the ponytail, but the rest of it is just pulled back. So it's not a braid that comes all the way back.
Yeah.
Once it hits the ponytail, then it's braided. Looks quite young, but he's clearly of... rank's the wrong word, but they fall into. He's definitely one of the mentors. All 4 of these folk with you act body language wise as equals. As you notice him, he notices you and just kind of nods respectfully. He has maybe 4 short swords on him, 2 on his back, 1 at each hip.
Ruby will nod back, and she is, as ever, visibly wearing tartans, so depending on what he knows of the clans, he'll know a fair amount about her background straight off.
You spot the confusion, not shock and surprise, just a bit of, oh look, a human wearing the tartan that is, it's just that you can see him doing the math.
Yeah.
And they're all waiting for you to sit.
Oh, like we're sitting, and then I guess Harry would kind of like gesture around, kind of party, and sort of start like gesturing for them to like introduce themselves, or start introducing them.
To be clear, Ruby is not going to be the first one sat down.
Sapphire
I
absolutely would be
would
happy
say,
to do so.
yeah.
Okay, if Harry sat down, yeah, Sapphire would absolutely.
Yeah.
Sapphire was already
if
sitting
Harry
before
sat-
Harry sat down.
Yeah.
If Harry sat down, then Ruby will sit. But yeah, this isn't. She's not going to start a row by accidentally missing some memo about manners, and also still not 100% sure we're trusting everyone here. You can practically hear her mouth pre-forming the words, be it freely given, about the food, but she hasn't spoken yet because she hasn't reached for the food yet.
Okay. As you all sit, and the other mentors sit, so you get Xerxes taking seat, the halfling, and the other 2 mentors. You have one of the giant blooded, so the Goliaths. They are still adorned in. Who would know this? You would know this, Sapphire. Sapphire.
You're just bringing out all the fun intonation tonight.
Just
Fire if you're
The
nasty.
volume.
yeah. One of the Goliaths of the Pride Mountains. Dark grey skins. They, as in the pelts they wear, in a dark grey. They have a almost really light stone grey, their own skin, under these whatever animals they kill to get these darker greys. Her hair is a twisted mess of copper and silver. She looks old, very old. Not as tall as you, and for a giant-blooded, most of them that you've met in like Viconia and stuff, or when you were travelling to Vay, at least match your height, or at least come close to it. She's quite short, maybe 6 foot for one of the giant-blooded. She has jewellery on every finger, but it is simply made of like woods and bones, but nice look, like there's a care to them. It's not just took a knuckle, glued it to a bit of wood and then wrapped it around your finger. They don't appear to be carrying any weapons, but just seeing them walk with you down this corridor and sitting, there is definitely a grace of one who can dance.
Noted.
The one that sticks out to you the most, Sapphire, is the elf of Vay. The kimono they are wearing is jet black with white trim. They brought in with them a number of books, several pieces of parchment. They have a pair of half-moon spectacles that are hanging on a chain just around their neck. His hair is completely straight, no top knot, just straight down across the shoulders, perfectly cut. Is greying, maybe a darker colour before the greying. Of an age that is probably young for the elves in Vay, but older than you lot. and a katana at their hip.
Hmm.
And those are your 4 mentors of the Darshal Educian. And they sit. The halfling. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Dean of Clan Alen of the Toan Highlands, High Mentor of the Darshal Educian. And he makes a fist and puts it over where his heart would be. And I am Rose of the Pride Mountains, High Mentor of the Darshal Educian. Tribeless, clanless, but I don't care. Welcome. And then the elf nods. And you may call me Ro. That's all he says. Well, now you've met us. Xerxes kind of leans in and gestures a hand, and multiple, you assume, mage hands appear and pour wine for everyone and a separate cup of water for your own choice. All the mentors take from the water goblet. How can we help? And at that question, the other mentors relax a little bit in their chairs.
Brain's getting dressed a lot tonight. Mel's brain can't keep up. My brain doesn't work.
I've got it written down in front of me and I can't keep up, so don't worry about it.
Sapphire will do like a gentle bow while sat to each of them in turn. Say, I am Sapphire Waters, currently known as Mirror's Bane. Looks over at Ruby with a grin. Formerly of the tribe of those that feast, but more recently trainee at the Temple of Hawa in the Vey Dynasty. I personally came to Ravenholm to talk about a specific kind of magic, but we have a number of different things we need to ask of you and share with you about the goings on, and hopefully exchange information. Looks around nervously at the others, like Sapphire's not used to doing the talking.
Ari will kind of like speak up next and just be like, as you've heard, I am the brother of Stefan, who has studied here for many years. I am Aristotle, formerly of the House of Eagles. Still with the House of Eagles. It just like looks really uncomfortable, which is unusual for him. But he doesn't really like being super put in these formal situations. This is the reason why he ran away. Yay! He's kind of like, but I have been away from home for a very long time. Recently returned just before everything kind of happened, but I've been with this great group of people for quite a while now, and we've done a lot of things, and as Sapphire said, we have a lot to talk about, and he'll kind of like gesture towards Ruby, probably, just to kind of be like, it's okay to speak.
Like Ruby like cuts him a glare, like kind of hoping to get away with this. Literally just goes, I'm Ruby, I'm a farmer. Zip.
Just nods. You notice Dean of Clan Elaine make the sign of the oak to you, Ruby, when you speak. Just casually. Just more like a hi as you're passing across one another's farmland.
he will get a small
Clip round the ear.
hawthorn back.
Oh, that's nice. Well played.
Ruby has now made the assumption, whether it's founded or not, that his dryad is oak.
Again, Ari will kind of look at the sibs, just be like,
Just Sandria's just like at Cass.
We're the Summerbury siblings
I recognised.
Xandria. and Caspian.
My apologies for interrupting. I recognised the aura of summer upon, well, your sister if you are siblings, but not yourself, Caspian. You do well at hiding it. Fine skill for one of your kith. So, how can the Darshal Educian be of help?
We've collected an amount of. Guess it's like what Xandria scuttling about in the corner there.
No, just imaginary like scroll of long ass list.
We've managed to collect some information on our travels that is beyond our ken. Sapphire, you have some of the glyphs that we've taken from the blood pillars in the Copper Forest, which we managed to get shortly after they first landed there. There's another who's been traveling adjacent to us who might be swinging by, possibly. I'm sure Romerick left some sort of note in his message about Arterian and the Tathran.
Yes, quite a panicked message. Apparently Arterian is a noble from a faraway land. It's a very strange way to word it. And their guardian, it was unsure if who was guarding who, but a child of sorts. The Tathrin Sasha, I believe Romerick named them as.
Yes. They, for reasons which will become clear when you meet them, were not in a position to travel by airship, and said they would meet us here. Arterian has more arcane knowledge than any of us do, and says that the scrolls, Sapphire, do you have them there?
Yeah, Sapphire's already gone into his satchel and started like.
That they might actually be magic now. We don't understand any of this. We have information, but we need help in parsing it and putting it into the right hands to make it useful.
Ro, the clear warrior from there, leans over, puts the spectacles on the end of his nose. May I?
Sapphire hands him over. Just gives a little bit more about, this is literally what was inscribed around the blood, around the ground, around the blood pillars. I took surprisingly good drawings of them. And Arterian, informed us that they were magic, very old language, and that these could potentially be used to reverse the effects.
Come on, Ro. Ro spreads out the bits of parchment. You quickly discover that all four of the mentors all know the cantrip Mage Hand, and they seem to move stuff out of their way without effort. Like, just what they need to do, Mage Hand gets in the way, moves stuff out of the way, plates and such. And he spreads them out, and he's looking down. There we go. Method. And as he looks across at him, he's umming and ahhing to himself. The other three mentors have a look, but then lean back as if it's a completely foreign language to them. This Artarian is incorrect and correct from the looks of things. Like here, and he starts pointing out, like here, this is ancient. This is glyphs that we use, or some of the wizards use nowadays. There's a mixture.
Would knowledge that these were originally made by Corbin be of any use? I don't know if there's a particular signature or style that...
They all have signatures, these wizards. And Xerxes is like, I'm still in the room, bro. Still in the room. I know, I said it out loud. But if you look here, and then just carries on, this here, this is blood magic, this part here. This is the old stuff your friend Artarian spoke about. This is more new. But yes, definitely, yeah, you see, Xerxes, you're not all that special. Sapphire, I can assume you are not a wizard.
Oh, no.
And yet you've
Probably
created magical parchment, what you claim to be by accident. Bravo, Xerxes. Bravo. I hope your students are getting their money's worth. These can be used. I don't know if they can be used to reverse with the blood pillars and their effect that they're having across Ravenholm. But they can definitely dampen the caster's ability to connect to them. So, if I was a betting... I like to bet. I'd say the person who cast them, if you wish to kill them, this would definitely aid you in reducing their connection to the blood pillars. Because the way this works, and I hate that I know this, and you should know this, Xerxes, the pillars remain strong, the wizard remains strong. If the wizard remains strong, the pillars remain strong. Cut their connection to the pillars, you just get another dumbass wizard. Still in the room. Still in the room. Yes, Xerxes, you're still in the room. So yes, are any of you able to wield arcane powers?
Are
Question mark?
and that is literally the
I think
noise that
like
comes.
My
like
mic is,
a
there we go, my
quest.
mic's back. Brilliant. Because
So-
I did respond with a little.
Oh. So, Xerxes looks around you all, as does Rose, as does Dean, as does Ro. And they have a moment where they all kind of look at each other. And then Rose nods to the three mentors. Aristotle, you can wield magic. Ruby, the farmer, you are far more than that. Can wield magic. The Xandria, was it? My apologies. Xandria, you can wield magic. You two, points to Sapphire, I guess, wield differently. Maybe you'd enjoy mingling with some of the students, but you definitely tap into a softer side of magic. Which, that set aside, you will probably need your farmer or the Herald of Summer. And Xerxes goes, oh, sorry, Xandria. And Xerxes just like, they are more attuned to magic. The rest of you seem to have a, with no offence meant, a light touch. Or
No
you can,
offense taken.
or you can take Xerxes here. She's not been out for years. I ain't going anywhere near the blood pillars.
They're not the greatest thing to encounter, to be honest. But
Well, if
I'm
you,
sure that Ruby would be interested in anything that would ruin Corbin's day.
He will answer, but I don't do wizard magic.
I don't
Because Ruby
think
is
they're all wizards.
No, Ruby is working on the basis that they said arcane. Ruby basically knows enough to know that she doesn't do arcane magic. And she has assumed that wizards do arcane and druids do druid. And
I think maybe Ari will kind of like look at her and just be like, you know how I said there's a lot of druids around the wall? A lot of them did come here for tuition.
we have had many druids in the past. If you are not directly schooled in the specifics of where magic falls into, well, into their own pools of power, I can definitely teach one of you. Probably would have to be Ruby or Xandria, but I could definitely teach you how to initiate the spell on the scrolls, and as long as you maintained your concentration upon its casting, you would be fine. There is how best to put it, there is magic in Colossus, and those of us that tap into it differently. You use your skills as a farmer and one with the land. I'm really good at reading.
would I then need to finish learning to read before I could do that?
You already know how to read what is necessary. If the
Nice
tree...
save roll. Nice save. Kelly guy just about had a heart attack at the concept.
Poor Darius, he was not expecting I can't read.
But yes, you have managed to acquire yourselves powerful scrolls.
Sapphire looks around at the others. So yeah, maybe someone else should be holding what I thought were just sketches now.
The little stick people just stabbing each other round a little tree.
Xandria will just hold her hand out for the scrolls then. Pass them here then.
The teaching will take some time, a day or two, depending on how it goes. It's not easy to learn new magics, whatever.
I mean, depending how clever I am.
Well, it also relies on my ability to translate it in a way that you understand. So, let's hope we're both clever. Ro just adjusts his katana at the time and goes, "Good luck, Ruby." But he's eyeballing Xerxes.
Well then, I suppose that settles that.
Is
Now,
that-
on to the next problem.
Oh, there is more.
Always.
Rose adjusts her massive shoulders. Good, so get bored of this wizard talk.
Sapphire, you had questions about...
Yeah, I have a few questions, I suppose. I mean, the reason I came here looking for information about echoes and echo magic, we may have solved that particular problem, but there's other problems now happening with echoes.
Dini, is your... Yeah, I know about echoes.
So I originally
At
came
this
to...
point, Ruby cuts Dean the look that says, "Good luck, pal."
Yeah. There's a little silent fist bump between Ruby and Dean.
I mean, I originally I was just interested because it was a branch of magic we didn't, or at least the people I was connected with didn't know in Vey, and we were looking for some way to cure an illness that had spread. But I think we may have found a solution to that. My friend my friend Saisurin has been researching it at I had it earlier at the Kithlaw. The Kithlaw Educian, is researching it there. But we've, because of a lot of different issues we're having now, we've got other echoes of people coming through to this realm and blocking our friends out from this realm. And we've been to the realm of echoes, and that was a strange, crazy place.
Dane leans forward. When did you go? Sorry, when did you go? So, got to keep my voices, all two of them.
That's a good question, because we've been in the Copper Forest since then and lost some time, if I remember correctly.
We've been a couple of places.
And we went to the Spirit Realm since then. Yeah, we've...
Ruby's sort of like counting backwards. We went not long after harvest. We experienced some days, but we're back after Samhain, and it was midwinter the day before yesterday.
Looks at Xerxes, and all four of them look at each other and have that shared moment again. And Dane goes, "Can we stop with the messaging? Just tell them." Xerxes says to you, Harry, and Sapphire, kind of between you both, which Stefan is in the echoes, and which one is here?
The right one and the wrong one.
If you're asking the question,
Dane
you probably
laughs.
already know.
Dane laughs his head off at Ruby's response. And Xerxes goes, "Thank you. I just need clarification." My colloquialisms. Not that I said that right, but...
Ari's brother is the one stuck in the realm of echoes.
I am aware that Ari's brother is in the echoes. But it is also Ari's brother that is here. Now, whether you wish to interpret it in greater detail and complexity is entirely up to yourselves. But the simple matter of it is, there is a Stefan here, and there is a Stefan in the Echo Realm. The one in the Echo Realm is refusing contact with Dean. The one here is offering help, aid, a grand, how did they put it? Reunion of student and mentor at the halls of Lord Everdark. I politely declined, as I don't like Lord Everdark. But it is not like Stefan to mingle with such.
I was going to say, you have obviously spent a great deal of time with Stefan. You spent a great deal of time at the school. He has grown up around you and your mentors and around this school. If you don't like someone, do you think that he would like the same person for the same reasons? I've not heard of this Lord Everdark much. I've heard stories, but I don't believe my true brother would actually choose to spend extended periods of time with someone like that.
We don't work on belief, Aristotle. I need fact. If it had been merely Stefan inviting us and the Stefan within the echoes counter-arguing, then there is information I can work with. Stefan within the echoes is refusing our magics of communication, which is not like Stefan. The Stefan here in this material realm is inviting me to dine with a person that is not like Stefan to hold company with. So I have two Stefans before me, behaving differently to how I would assume. So forgive me for needing clarification from yourself and your
I understand.
Leonin friend here.
My brother is in the Echo Realm.
Give me a persuasion check.
Please roll nice. Please. Please. As I say, I can't read our own dice. 14. What's my persuasion? Oh, okay. 21.
Okay. There is a obvious sign of relief in Xerxes as they relax a little bit in their chair. Dean and Ro both perk up simultaneously. Told you. Rose just shrugs her shoulders, but Xerxes is relieved.
The false Stefan killed one of my party members in cold blood. To say that I'm not a fan is putting it mildly. And to get my brother back,
Sorry for your loss.
we've been told that we need to, well, the false Stefan needs to be killed.
Dean perks up. Well, that's right. You can't have two echoes in one realm. So we need to get rid of the bad un to let the good un back in. But the good un, oh shit, give me a clip when I see him, won't answer my calls.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Because he was quite keen to get home when we saw him.
I stood at the base of the Tower of Puku and reached out, and his magic wardings. And I recognise that whippersnapper's signature anywhere. Refused me entry.
Is he unable to? Has he been blocked in by himself? There was more than just two echoes, there was a lot of echoes.
What do you mean there was a lot of echoes? Dean's like pulling himself up, and like he's got an extra cushion on his chair to make him taller.
He'll kind of gesture towards Sapphire, like Sapphire understands more of this than I do, but there was a lot of echoes of Stefan. Stefan was holding on that magic, really, and splintering himself.
Splintering himself? How so? Identical? What did you see? Were they old, young, same?
They wore different colours, but they looked physically the same, didn't they?
Are we referring to when, sorry, out of character, are we referring to when Sapphire saw him and he was old?
When
Or
Sapphire
are we
saw
referring
him,
to when we were all in the realm of
when
echoes?
Sapphire saw him when he was old, he was surrounded by a variety of Stefans of all ages and essences of different personality. And that's what Dean's asking about.
And they were all in the tower as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they're all in the same room.
Yeah, there were a lot of them. Not identical. Different. It looked like they'd all taken different paths, but they were different ages as well. They had different experiences.
They're not echoes. That's Stefan. All of it. That's Stefan. You are aware, looks across to you, Harry, that your brother was struck with a fiendish assassination attempt. It shattered his being. They reached out to us to find a resolution to it, but it doesn't fall. We reached out to the Kithlor Educian. They're elite in historical, well, everything. But it was all this happened before we received any further advancements on it. Whatever Stefan has done in the realm of echoes, they're not echoes. He split himself. Echoes can exist within the realm of echoes as it is a way station. They can pass by, they can share a moment of recognition, but then must return to a realm empty of them, usually their own. It is rare that the realm of echoes is a quiet place.
Yeah, we saw echoes of each other. But I mean, there was one point where we did fight with a number of different Stefans too.
And ourselves.
And other us's, yeah. But the other Stefans all seemed to be working together.
Power attracts power. Xerxes just nods.
Well, from what we gathered, the one that's in our realm now is killing other Stefans and absorbing their power.
That would explain the reputation. Yes, your not brother already had a reputation of wielding the mightiest of magics, but is somewhat becoming a celebrity among Ravenholm. Harry, would you come back to the Realm of Echoes with me and tell your brother to sort his head out and let me in?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I can get through to him, but yeah.
Well, he ain't listening to me.
Another. What of? Sorry, just make sure I get the name right. Darius.
Darius, yeah.
What of Darius?
I mean, do you know where Darius is? Because Darius, anyone that's got, you know, how do I word this? Stefan don't give a shit about me tipping up. But if his brother or lover turns up, I've got a far better chance of letting me in the door.
Nikolai was protecting him at one point as well, but he disappeared.
Disappeared? Disappeared?
We think he was following this one. I've tried to scry on him. He's alive, he was moving, but he wouldn't let me see.
Maybe we should try again later. That'll help.
Darius, our character, we haven't played in 6 months. I don't believe we knew where Darius
The last you knew of Darius, he was with Elva and the Forces. Like, and your mum and dad. But it turns out they're having brunch with Lord Everdark and Bad Stefan. Yeah,
Which means that Darius might also be.
Well, we could scry on Darius. Or Xerxes can scry on Darius. You can scry on Nikolai. Get old Phineas scrying on everything. I am still in the room.
No, that's good to know. Powerful scryers are here too, because there's someone I was trying to have a look at using my powers, and I think I may have stumbled upon something dark there too.
Well, how about there seems to be a lot more to elaborate on than merely your very impressive scratchings of the blood pillars. It will take me a day or two for myself and Ruby to synergize in our learning of the scrolls. I need to learn it myself, and me and Ruby can spend a bit of time. If you don't mind hanging out with an old wizard, I do apologise.
Ruby doesn't know what the word synergize means, but she does know that she does not like that word. So, that is a word that smacks of bullshit.
AD's throwing around the big words now.
So
Eddie tells me all the time, apparently.
It's wizards, innit?
Yeah.
Wizards.
wizards.
Wizards in
Bloody
it.
wizards. She gets a side eye and a nod from Ruby.
And obviously I will need time to scry. We have artifacts here that we can use to enhance certain magics. If you can take advantage of them yourselves, you're very welcome. I will also be using them to reach out, maybe push through certain defences of those wishing not to be scryed or being protected from scrying, if you wish me to. Rose and Ro, they kind of just nod and offer, yeah, we're here as well. Yes, I'll do what you need me to. Well, good, says Dean. Well, in that case, it's late afternoon. Please eat, drink, have a rest, gather your thoughts. You seem to be somewhat sporadic in thinking of what to present next. Take a breather. I know there's a lot going on and it's not easy, but believe me when I say you are safe among these, at least this wall. And kind of laughs at their own joke. Still not funny, Xerxes. Still not funny. Agreed?
Sounds good to me.
A plan.
Feel free to have an hour or so. Feel free to explore the grounds. Don't go beyond the boundaries. The illusion will not protect you beyond the boundaries. But any questions you can ask of ourselves or the students, they will be more than willing to help. Or spar. Aye, spar. And on that note, that's the end of the session. So we'll call it there. Give yourselves a little. We're not here next week, so you've got 2 weeks. Not 2-ish, you know what I mean. Let's have a little waffle between yourselves, and then we can have another wonderful crack at solving the world's problems.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for the raid. I don't know how many of you are still here. Thank you for the new chatters, etc., the follows and all that good stuff. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Spelljammer is on tomorrow. Dungeon mastered by Ricardo of Dice of the Beholder. So we'll be on tomorrow. Then on Friday, we have our first session of Dungeon in a Box. Sponsored stream. We're going to run their monthly campaign. Once a month we'll play the next adventure and we'll go through and we'll stream their campaign that they release. So go check out Dungeon in the Box, they're amazing as well. So that'll be Friday. And then Sunday, you've got Dice of the Beholder again running their Chronicles of Needham. So we're busy. But next week, Raider from Explore the Beyond. Thank you for the raid, much appreciated. Go check out all the YouTubes and the Discords and the Spotifys. Just search Heavyweight RPG or Heavyweight Gaming. You know, we like to keep it fruity. Thank you so much. I've got next week off from streaming, but look out for Dice of the Older stream, Spelljammer, all that good stuff. And we'll see you all very soon. But for now, say good night, players.
Good
Good
night.
night, players.
Yes.
Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.